All right, let's dive into The Bear. This is Anton Chekhov's short, absolutely explosive one-act play. And it's wild. It starts out as this bizarre fight over money, but believe me, it spirals into a full-blown duel, and then, well, something else you'd never see coming. So let's meet our protagonist, Elena Popova. She's a young widow. The play says she has dimples on her cheeks, and she has made this incredibly dramatic vow. See, it's been 7 months since her husband died, and she's basically decided, that's it, my life is over too. So we've got the grieving widow. But is it really grief, or is it more of a performance? Because, Popova has locked herself away in this big show of sadness. And it's so extreme that even her footman, Luca, is starting to think she's going way over the top. And this vow she's made to her dead husband, Nikolai, it's the real deal. She's promised to never, ever leave the house, to never see the light of day, and to never take off her black mourning clothes. She is literally burying herself alive, all to prove how much she loved him. Okay, but here's where we see the first crack in this whole performance. In the very same breath she's vowing to be faithful forever, she admits her husband wasn't a great guy. In fact, he was cruel, unfair, and yeah, he cheated on her. A lot. So you have to ask yourself, right? Why is she putting on this huge show of devotion for a man who treated her so badly? And this really highlights the contradiction, doesn't it? On one hand, she's saying, my life is over, but on the other, she's still running the show, even worrying about giving extra oats to her dead husband's favorite horse, Toby. It doesn't quite add up. It feels much more like she's playing a part than actually living this grief.
All right, so now we meet the boorish creditor, this unstoppable force. Because right into this quiet little theater of sadness that Popova has built for herself, a hurricane arrives. An intruder literally barges into the house and shatters the whole thing to pieces.
And who is this guy? He's Grigory Smirnov, the Bear himself. He's a retired lieutenant, he's a landowner, but most importantly, right now, he's broke and he's angry. He's not there to offer condolences, no way. He's there because Popova's husband owed him 1,200 rubles for oats, and he needs that cash, like today.
And this quote, it just nails the whole conflict. Smirnov is a man with a serious, practical problem. He's about to lose his land. So when he's met with Popova's delicate state of mind, he just can't deal with it. To him, her sadness isn't real grief, it's just a ridiculous excuse to not pay him.
So this is where we get a real battle of wits. The fight stops being about money and starts being about morality. Because what starts as an argument over a debt, it just explodes. Suddenly, it's not about the rubles anymore. It's a fiery, all-out debate about men, women, love, and who is truly faithful.
And Smirnov just lets loose. He goes on this absolutely furious, misogynistic rant. He says he'd rather sit on a barrel of dynamite than talk to a woman. Why? Because according to him, every single woman is insincere, a liar, and totally two-faced. He claims the only thing a woman can be faithful to is like a poodle. Well, you can imagine how Popova takes this. She is furious. She fires right back at him. Oh, men are faithful, are they? She uses her own husband, this supposed best of men, as her prime example. The guy who cheated on her nonstop and even left behind a whole drawer full of his old love letters. She basically says, you want to talk about unfaithful? Let's talk about men. But here's the kicker, the total hypocrisy of it all. Smirnov is going on and on about how he's above women, all these tender feelings. And then what does he do? He admits that he's fought duels over women 3 times. I mean, come on. For a guy who claims to hate passion, he's clearly been driven by it his whole life.
And this is the moment the argument gets really personal and pretty nasty. Smirnov looks at her and he calls her out. He sees that she's still powdering her face, and he basically says, you're not really in mourning, are you? This is all an act. He goes right for the jugular, attacking the one thing she's built her whole identity around for the past 7 months.
And that leaves us to the surprising duel. We're moving from words to pistols now, because that personal insult, that was the final straw. The argument is over. Things are about to escalate to a place that is, honestly, both terrifying and completely ridiculous.
And it happens so fast you can barely keep up. First, Popova just lets him have it, calling him a bear, a monster, the works. Smirnov, who can't believe he's being insulted like this, just shouts, "Pistols!" He challenges her to a duel. And the craziest part? She accepts instantly. He's totally stunned. But yeah, they're really gonna do it. They're going to fight.
Okay, so from hate to love, the duel's aftermath. Because as Popova runs off to grab her dead husband's pistols, something totally wild happens. All of that intense, angry, violent energy between them, it starts to change into something else, something completely different.
And here we see a complete 180 from Smirnov. The second she agrees to the duel, all his anger just evaporates. He's not mad anymore. He is fascinated. He sees her, and he doesn't see some fragile, weeping widow. He sees, in his words, fire, gunpowder, a rocket. He's suddenly completely captivated by her spirit. 10,000 rubles. That's the annual income he offers her. So how captivated is he? Well, while he's literally teaching her how to shoot him, he can't stop himself. He blurts out that he's in love with her and proposes on the spot. He offers her his hand and marriage and a hefty income to go with it. It's completely insane. And you can just feel Popova's confusion in this line, can't you? Her entire world, this little grieving bubble she built, has been completely shattered. All that anger and hate she felt for him is getting mixed up with something else, something she can't name and definitely can't control. One second she's screaming, "I hate you," the next she's begging him not to leave. And really, this whole crazy, violent fight was a cure for both of their states of mind. It was exactly what they needed. It's like a kind of shock therapy. It snapped Smirnov out of his bitterness and cynicism, and it completely demolished Popova's fake world of mourning. It just woke them both up. And this final line is all the proof you need. After Smirnov finally kisses her, Popova's very last act in the play is to cancel those extra oats for her dead husband's horse, Toby. Remember the oats? The symbol of her lingering performative grief? Well, they're gone. The performance is officially over. The ghost of her husband has finally been kicked out. So that leaves us with the big question, right? Was this really true love? A ridiculous case of love at first fight? Or was it something else? Did these two angry, lonely, stuck people just slam into each other and find a passion that was finally strong enough to wake them both up from their living deaths? It's definitely something to think about.